It's Sunday. Hooray! Alright, let's get down to business here. We're talking The Force Awakens. If you haven't seen the movie yet, turn this video off now. Because we're going to spoil everything. Every little detail. Maybe not. But I have very special guests here today. First off, Alex Bennett.
Alright.
Andy Bennett. Tyler Parrish. And Jacob Ferguson.
Hey.
So let's start off and go around and what were the positive things of this movie, and let's try to keep it pretty short because we don't want this to be a ridiculously long video. Alex, why don't you go first?
Positive things?
Yeah.
Okay. I think it was amazing. Very, very thrilling. I was always on the edge of my seat. I went and saw the movie with James, and I looked over, and he was definitely on the edge of his seat, and especially with all the great score and all the great action scenes. I think they had a lot of fast-paced action, and when they introduced all the old characters, it was amazing.
All right, what do you think, Andy?
Sucked. No, I'm just kidding. I really enjoyed it. I think just because it felt like Star Wars again was a big thing. Just the atmosphere of everything. I really enjoyed the new characters a lot. All of them. I can't wait to see them all again. This is spoiler free. I mean, this is spoiler. So they all lived. So we will see them all again. And that's
all lived?
Yeah.
All the new characters.
The new ones.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying. The new characters. Han Solo's super dead.
There it is.
But I'm really excited to see the new characters. I've been waffling back and forth about Kylo Ren, what I thought about him, but but this is positive stuff. So yeah, the new characters were great. The old characters were great. It was just a lot of fun. It was a fun movie, even though we got a lot of repeat kind of storylines and stuff. It was just a fun movie that everyone was excited to see.
For me, from start to finish, I could not stop smiling. This movie was just overall just a great time, and it was fresh, but it was nostalgic. It was action packed, but it was also heartfelt, and it was just an all around really great movie.
Well, for me, coming from a person who was not raised on Star Wars and I have never owned a lightsaber toy in my life, which is But on that note, so I'm not crazy about it, but I am crazy about everyone involved. And then I saw the movie, and now, let's put it this way, I already ordered a Force Awakens poster. I thought it was incredible. I was mainly just going into it excited because I loved Lawrence Kasdan and J.J. Abrams. So I was excited going into it, and then I was just blown away by the excellent use of comedy and the excellent use of drama. I would explain it as Jurassic World except with better usage of references, and they didn't completely rely on the old movie to push it forward to be good. And then a mix of Guardians. Now, Guardians is a different movie, not just because they're in space doesn't make them the same movie, but the way Guardians used comedy was sort of similar how they used it in this movie, except they toned down, imagine Guardians just with toned down comedy and an actual villain that makes the stakes more high, and the villain, Kylo Ren, incredible, and I'm sure these guys are going to talk about him more.
Yeah, my quick stuff really fast. I was a huge fan of the way J.J. Abrams did The Force. All the way from that first shot when he tries to shoot him and he stops the laser and freezes him too. Yeah. And I was like, oh, this is it was stuff we had never seen before, but not in a way that it breaks the mythology. It's all stuff that makes sense.
I remember seeing when they stopped the gunshot, I looked over at James just because I thought it was so cool, and James was his jaw dropped and he was just staring at the screen.
Because it was awesome.
Get his attention. It was great.
It was so awesome. I also like. You guys have already talked about. Kylo Ren is, I know some people have problems with him. I think he's an excellently written villain because the fact that he pitches those temper tantrums makes him more real, but also, to me, makes him a lot scarier. Yeah. Obviously he's not as iconic as Darth Vader, but I can't think of a time in my life where I've been more scared of Darth Vader than I was of Kylo Ren in these scenes because he's so unpredictable because you don't know when he's going to pitch a fit and go off and break everything. And the way he used the Force was scarier to me. The Force chokes are dark and all, but he was ripping people.
He brought a guy across the room and grabbed him by the neck. He was
that was awesome.
I think
It was so
the
cool.
one problem that I had, which it wasn't like his fault or anything, because I thought it was great, was with Han Solo, with him like giving it away. You know how you notice as soon as he like turned back to dark was when the light went out,
Yeah.
and I was like, that's kind of. I felt a little cliche about that because he like notices, oh, there's no more light. Now I'm on the dark side. But besides that, I think I did like his development, and especially the temper tantrums that he had.
Yeah.
It's cool to see him freak out.
And it's sweet.
And when those clone troopers walk the other way,
Yeah,
when
they
they
were
walk up
like,
and
oh
they-
no, and they leave.
that was one of the funniest parts, I think.
I was also a big fan of BB-8, and he was like equally as charming, at least as equally as charming as R2D2 and C3PO have ever been.
Yeah.
The light. Wait, we have a little bit of a beef to settle here, or not really a beef, but just a debate. When Finn gives BB-8 the thumbs up, and BB-8 does the lighter, I think that's a thumbs up, and Tyler thinks that's him flipping him off.
I think
That's
it
I
was-
thought it was him saying you should light a cigarette.
Nope. They were going back and forth, and he goes, listen, I'm not part of the resistance, and I need you to do this, this, and this for me. And BB-8's like, are you kidding me? And so then he tells Rey where the resistance is, and then Finn's like, oh, thank you. And BB-8's like, no, like, not you. Like,
Yeah,
it's not a woo, we're friends. It's a, yeah, screw you.
I agree with Tyler. I think it was a flip of the bird, and right there I was like, oh, I like BB-8.
He's got some spunk.
I think it was a thumbs up because the way he tilted his head back and leaned back was sort of like
it was like he was rolling his eyes, but he doesn't have eyes, so he rolled his
I
head.
say thumbs up. You guys think? You think thumbs up?
I
Jake?
can see it either way, to be honest, but
I need to see it again.
I still, yeah. He's seen it
I've
twice.
seen it twice.
I'll see it
Times was
tomorrow.
middle finger.
First time,
Both times it was middle finger.
it was an actual hand. The second time,
It's like a
special show.
personality test.
George Lucas already went in and CGI'd a hand in.
Yeah, he did.
Sorry.
He's adding it in.
It was
and then
Luke's
also,
hand that get fall to Cloud City.
Yeah, and then it's also Hayden Christensen is there in the background as a Force ghost if you look very hard.
That's not true.
Don't lie.
Anyway, though, speaking of hated things, let's go to like maybe the things they could have done better in this. What do you think, Alex?
Things they could have done better. I think a couple of the characters had a little bit like a different feel. I was talking to Andy about it. Han Solo kind of had a little bit different of feel than he did in the old movies, because I mean he joked around a little bit, but I feel like he joked around. I mean, which is fine, I guess, if his character was evolving. He's an older guy now who's running a little bit differently. His bones don't work as good, but I kind of wanted the old Han Solo where he knew he could do everything, and he wasn't like I don't know.
Never tell me the odds.
Yeah.
Well, he kind of did that when he was going through.
With
He was
the
like
raid
the light
people.
speed.
Yeah, that's true. He did. Yeah, he did go.
And then
Yeah.
also I love the part where they're like, how are you gonna get out of this? And he's like, I talk my way out of it. I always do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did that.
And yeah,
Yes, I do.
Yes, I do every time.
And that scene.
Oh, one last
I didn't like
positive
those,
thing to
wait.
talk about. The lightsaber fight.
Oh!
All right, so for me, like the best shot of the movie was when he's reaching for the lightsaber and it's shaking and it flies past him and Rey catches it, and everyone in the theater was like they all like stopped and they're like, oh snap, like this is about to go down.
So did Kylo
And,
Ren. Like he was terrified. If you look at his face,
Yeah.
he's like, "Oh crap! Maybe I'm not the only person who has the Force that's still around."
Yeah, he's like, I'm about to lose probably. And he was injured too, which was like, this whole fight, just everything about that fight to me was like flawless, perfect. He kept hitting it, and he's like, because otherwise, say he had never been shot by Chewbacca, and say he had never been like grazed on the shoulder by Finn, like there's no way he would have lost that battle, even though she
He's
has
a
the
trained,
Force.
yeah.
He's been trained, but also I like,
Luke Skywalker.
yeah, but
And-
because of that, it all plays out and it's believable, and also I like that he burned Finn with the cross guard.
Yeah,
It came in handy.
Yeah, James and I talked about it before. We said he better use the little sidebars on his lightsaber, else we're gonna be mad that they're there for no reason. But he used them, so
Yeah, he
Yeah,
burned him
yeah.
in the shoulder.
yeah.
Oh, and also that fight comes at a perfect time in the movie, because one way to piss people off is by having Han Solo die, and gonna whisper.
There are other people in my house who haven't seen this movie, so we have to kind of whisper the spoilers.
Who died?
Jar Jar Binks?
Jar Jar Binks died.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
This is once
a
again.
re-release cut where Naboo gets blown up from the Starkiller base.
Oh, yeah, that's what
And Jar Jar's running away. We's gonna die.
That would have been the worst thing to put in the movie, probably, because everyone's
No.
supposed to be like, "Wow, this
I
is
can
very
tell you, everyone in
impactful."
that theater would have gotten up and cheered.
Well, they
Yeah.
would have, but they were supposed to feel really sad and like mad, like, "Oh, First Order's bad." But if First Order's killing Jar Jar Binks, and
Then they
Then
would have
maybe
gained
I
my
would be
trust.
turning to the
I'd be
dark
like,
side.
all right.
like, okay, maybe they're not that bad after all. But
Side note.
but it was the perfect time because you after that scene, you're mad at this whiny little teenager, which is Kylo Ren, who just killed like one of the greatest characters of all time, like in movie history. And like that's one way to make a good villain, especially when done right. And they did it right. And then now you have a fight scene. It's not even that over the top. It's just so emotionally driven that it's incredible.
Mm-hmm. The choreography was great, and she chops a tree down. That was
Yeah,
awesome.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like the tree.
Yeah, I think the whole Han Solo death was kind of
It was
very
telegraphed.
expected. Like when the closer you got to it in the movie, but I still think it was really well done. I mean,
Yeah, I think it was beautifully
Yeah.
shot. When he walks out onto the bridge, right? And
Yeah.
the lights
As
coming
soon as he
down.
steps
Red,
on the
yeah.
bridge, you're like, oh, well.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, if there's a
also-
huge chasm in a Star Wars movie, that
Well,
someone is gonna die.
yeah.
Also, I'd like to point out, did you get, like, he's named Ben, like Ben
Yeah,
Kenobi?
yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh, when he yells Ben, I was like, ooh, I got chills. I was like, nice. Because I was waiting to hear what they named him the whole movie.
I wanted him to say, "Ben, go to your room" or something.
Ben Solo.
Ben, go to your room.
Go to and he's like, Dad.
The
If
dark
George
side.
Lucas was still in charge, that's probably what would have happened.
No, Dad, the dark side's not a phase.
My negatives, Captain Phasma. I almost said something wrong.
You said plasma earlier,
Yeah,
so I
yeah,
figured I'd help
thank
you
you.
out.
Captain Phasma. Phasma.
Phasma form.
You know, I don't mind that she didn't have a big part, because we know that she's gonna be in it more, if she survived, which I'm sure she did. But I feel like that whole scene with her being taken into the room to turn the shields down on the Starkiller could have been done differently. Like maybe they figure out somehow how to do it from her, where they got to knock her out and then do it or something. I don't think her being a captain and the bad A that she is supposed to be, I don't think she's just gonna, oh, they got a gun to me. Okay, fine, I'll turn down the shields. I think that's one thing they could have handled a little bit better. I kind of wish the Starkiller didn't destroy, too. I wish it was sort of just they stopped the gun and broke it more than the whole planet destroys. Because in a sense, I felt like it was easy to kill him. I know it's paying homage to the first one, and
the sixth one.
yeah, and I get it, and I'm not mad about that, but I feel like it was a little too easy
Yeah.
to defeat them.
With that, though, I thought it was cool that it didn't explode. It turned into a sun, which was pretty sweet.
It was harnessing all that sun
Yeah,
power, so
yeah.
it was just
It, like,
okay.
Imploded and then
That's how you-
exploded to a sun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was like, yeah, I agree with you. I would have rather them come up with something else, but I feel like that wasn't really the main focus anyway. Like in A New Hope, that's the main focus. Like they're trying to destroy the Death Star, and this, like, that's like kind of a back burner thing to they're facing down with Kylo Ren on the inside.
I wish we knew more about the planets that were exploded.
Was it Coruscant? Was
They
it
didn't
not?
say
Was
the
it
names.
Coruscant?
Yeah,
Who
and
knows?
there's 5 planets.
It was only the planets from the prequels that got blown up.
It's 5
Yeah.
planets
It's
just
all-
right
it's
next to
all
each other.
involved, yeah.
What were they?
Never.
They just see it, people like, oh, we're dead. Well, sorry, guys, but I don't know who
It
you
was-
are.
It was Naboo. We need to make that version, and it'll be Jar Jar Binks on one of those like potato animals.
It was the
Yawn.
Alderaan effect. They blew up planets, but okay, do we care? No.
Yeah.
I feel like you care more about Alderaan because
She's like, oh,
Princess Leia's like, that's my planet, you know?
and they're like,
She
it's
got over
innocent.
it pretty quickly.
She did get it.
It's like,
Yeah,
crap.
It
like-
would have
Kinda-
been emotionally impactful if they blew up Jakku, but there wouldn't have been a reason for them to blow up Jakku because it's just a big desert. Like
Garbage.
almost no one is there.
Why do you want to go back to Jakku?
Because
You got a family?
Sure.
You got a cute boyfriend?
It's a great line. This movie
So
was
many great
Okay,
lines.
my biggest qualm with the movie was the underdevelopment of Poe Dameron. Besides the fact that he's got a little humor and he's the best pilot in the Resistance, I knew nothing
That's
about
true.
him. And there's kind of a little bromance between him and Finn, but I just felt like after like the first third of the movie, he was like, cool. How'd he get off Jakku? How'd he get off Jakku and
They said he woke
get
up
back
in
with
the night.
Resistance? Like,
Which makes no
okay,
sense.
cool. I don't know. I was a little rattled.
That's gonna be something you're probably gonna have to read in comics and stuff.
Yeah,
to
they're
find
gonna.
out.
That's the Disney thing because their whole thing now is everything they release counts as canon in the universe. So they probably left a few of these loose ends open to be like, want to know what?
I mean, they
happened?
did destroy the expanded universe.
Where'd you get this lightsaber? Well, that's a story for another time. Like,
I think that one they're gonna show.
Yeah, that
in
one
the
they've
movie.
got
At
to
least
show
I
in the
hope.
movie because that's a
but-
big thing. But him like, that's like the smaller plot hole was like, oh well, he like woke up and then where did he?
It might
go?
be how does she get out of the garbage
Yeah.
compactor? How does
I wanted a garbage compactor video game.
the point is, I just know I wasn't as emotionally invested in Poe as I was Finn and Rey.
That's true.
I still liked him.
Actually,
Did
yeah.
you like the character? Or
Yeah, he was
yeah.
he was a lot of fun to be on screen, and Oscar
Yeah.
Isaac was fantastic in playing the under character like that he was.
such a cool guy.
I
It's a
live
good
in
thing
the
though
galaxy.
that Poe and Finn were about like the same size, because then he could just like give him his jacket and he didn't
Yeah,
have to worry about it being too small. Or,
yeah.
Keep it.
What a bro.
Looks
Yeah.
good. He is. They got a nice bromance. I
Yeah.
like it. And him and BB-8, they
Yeah.
got a nice thing.
That's
should
another thing that I was so happy when he and BB-8 were reunited,
Yeah.
and they had like 2 minutes of screen time together previous to that. But
Yeah.
for some reason, I was like, oh, he's
It's like watching one of those military videos, like the dad coming home. You're like, oh,
yeah,
it's
or, yeah.
Instead
when,
of-
like, they
instead
come
of a
home to the
dog.
dog, yeah, instead of the dog, it's a droid.
You're like, oh, I don't know this family, but this is a nice time.
Yeah. All right. So last but not least,
All right, so my main problem, I think the whole opening like scene on Jakku, I might be screwing all these planets up because I'm not the biggest fan. I am now, I guess, but Desert Planet's Jakku, right?
yeah,
Okay, Jakku. I didn't really like it, and this is probably actually only my theater. I thought it was really quiet. Did anyone else think that? The sound mix sounded very
The very
quiet.
beginning.
Yeah, and then
No.
it got louder as it went on. Maybe
I
it's
think
just
I
me.
think they probably were up in the booth being like, oh, this is quiet, and they turned it up because
Okay, but that's not my main problem with it. My main problem with it, I felt like it did introduce a lot of characters, but there was no impact really. It was like, well, kill all the villagers. Like, okay, we don't know the characters enough for it to be impactful at the time, and I just thought that it was like it served to move the plot along, but I just thought, wow, the rest of the movie had so many amazing scenes, and I did think it was an amazing movie. Opening scene was just a little, it was all right, whereas I think the rest of the movie was amazing.
I think the opening scene is one of those things that's gonna get better the more like a second time you watch it because you are dropped on these two random dudes. You're like, who are these guys? But then the second time you watch it, you've had more time with Poe. You're like, oh, it's him. So you actually care more than you do originally.
But I didn't really get the whole point of the old guy, really.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
Like
hoping they
they
explain
tried
that.
making an
They'll
impactful.
probably tell who he is somewhere.
I
down the line.
thought he was like
Like-
Poe's dad, but then I was
Why
like, I
did he
guess
have
not.
the map to Luke
Yeah,
Skywalker?
that's
Like you didn't like you could have just had Poe.
It's
had the
not
map.
someone that we were like not remembering from
No, it
any of the
isn't.
original.
No,
Okay,
I-
just making sure.
They kind of filmed it and portrayed it in a way that I felt like I was supposed to recognize.
Yeah, that's
him.
how I
Yeah.
felt too. I'm
And
like, I
then-
don't know who this is.
Yeah, I was like, I'm a bad fan.
That's what I was thinking too.
And I do think that Rey, like Daisy Ridley's character, should have had the opening scene. And I'm not a writer. I do think it would have been better to open up the movie with the main character because Rey's the main character. I think we'd all agree.
Luke is the main character.
Yeah,
we
he-
didn't start Star Wars with him.
Yeah, we started with the droids, and then we started this one with the droid, but in a different way.
I do think it was a good enough opening, and
We got that laser freeze.
Going the opposite direction from the opening scene, the closing scene with the reveal of Luke. I wanted him to say something. I don't know about you guys, but they were staring at each other for a while, and I wanted him to say something, but I don't know what he would say.
James and I were talking about this, how the very last shot kind of took us out of it because you have the close-ups of Luke
You're
and
super
Rey.
emotional and intimate.
Yeah, and then you go this wide helicopter shot, and we've never had any kind of shot like that in a Star Wars movie before, and doing that kind of makes it seem like it's I don't know, just a different movie. It feels like a different movie.
It's a distant event.
That's a Lord of the Rings shot in a Star Wars movie.
And it felt like it's a very personal event, but it made it almost feel distant, and that is like a cinematography thing. I think it was more of a, hey, this is a pretty shot, but less of a, hey, this is a practical shot that makes sense with the rest of the story.
Yeah, because I think it looked awesome. Like that's an awesome shot and everything, but it took me out a little
Maybe
bit.
not the ending shot. Maybe they should have had like that shot a little bit earlier, and then have like a one
like
more
on
shot.
her approach, but like from behind her,
you can
like a half.
And at the end of it, you can see a little Luke.
So real fast, favorite scene, least favorite scene, and the score out of 10. My favorite scene is the lightsaber fight. There are a lot of like very, very close seconds. There's like most of the scenes are a close second. But and then least favorite, just kind of by default, even though I still enjoyed it, was the scene with the monster that escapes, the tentacle monster. It just looked more like that. Those like groups of people standing together looked very Guardians. Yeah, those groups, they looked very Guardians of the Galaxy to me, and less Star Wars. The way they were dressed.
I don't think you were supposed to. Like, you were supposed to know it's something really scary.
I think it was just like the trash compactor in the original Star Wars. Like, there's some kind of monster in there that sucked Luke under, but like, who cares?
It could have been more, Jaws, and we don't even see it. We just see tentacles grab, just like the trash compactor.
Could have done it that way.
Yeah. All right, Alex.
Jeez. My favorite would probably also be lightsaber battle, but I'll choose something different since you said that. I really liked we talked about the scene where Rey used the Force, and that's technically but that moment when the lightsaber goes past Kylo Ren and into her hand, and then everyone was clapping in the theater, and you're like, she's the one, she's the next face of Star Wars, and she's good looking.
My theater screamed. We screamed when that happened. I left the theater with my voice. My voice was all like, I lost my voice, which is.
Did you find it?
Anyways,
I did not find it like Rey found it, the Force.
My least favorite would probably be the moment when they were shooting all the planets and they destroyed those 5 planets.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, wow, that all happened so quick. I don't know if I care about it. Maybe I should. Maybe I just don't know what it is and these other people do.
The music at that part was really good. And I was like, if I knew what these planets were, this music would be doing its job really well, and it would make me really sad.
Thing right there.
I couldn't decide if I liked that Han Solo was using Chewie's gun or not. But
it was funny, but...
I thought it was funny, but I was like, he's never done that before.
After all these years, you've never done that before? Like, whatever.
So, yeah.
All right, Andy?
My favorite, I think, thinking about it, it might be how you said, right there, how Rey is the face. I think that's not the scene where it's when she touches the lightsaber. I think that whole scene and having the Force vision thing, you're like, that's where you find it. Okay, everyone thought, but we know she's Force sensitive and she can use the Force and she has this history and whatnot. So I think that scene with her, and then just leading up to that first fight scene, that battle there on, I don't even know the planet's name though.
Maz Kanata's place.
Yeah.
I don't know what the planet is.
Yeah. But I think I did like the look of that, and I think that scene leading up to it and right after was one of my favorites. Least favorite would have to be either probably a tie between the monsters with that Han Solo smuggled, and just the scene with Captain Phasma.
Oh, where she gets
where she's like, oh, fine, shields are down, but they're gonna.
They had a lot of really good lines in that scene, but I wish it wasn't her there. That they were.
Should have just been a clone trooper.
Yeah.
I like that they didn't have a plan.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. When he got in and he was, I know we're sidetracking a little, but when he gets in and he was like, "We'll just use the Force." He was like,
"Yeah, I was good there." my favorite line from like the whole movie is, "What do you got to plan? We'll use the Force." That's not how the Force works. That was probably one of my favorite lines of the movie. As far as my favorite part of the movie, when Finn and Rey are running from like the TIE fighters, and he's like, "What about that ship?" And she goes, "That ship's garbage." And then the ship they were going for blows up, and they're like, "Okay, the garbage ship will do." And the camera turns, and you see the Millennium Falcon. That for me was just like, okay, because that was such a great reveal. Because from the trailer, you saw the Millennium Falcon running around Jakku, and I was like, oh man, I bet Han Solo and Chewie come rescue them or something. Nope, they get themselves out of this situation. And that whole scene was just so Star Wars, and it was so great, and I loved everything about it.
Oh, and the shot of like that one guy who's like, "Oh, that's my ship."
That's my ship.
And you see him how the ship keeps hitting the ground because she still sucks at flying. I do find it hard to believe that she wouldn't have crashed through the ship, but it was done so well that it doesn't matter.
That was Simon Pegg, right? That alien.
Was it?
I know
Pretty sure.
Simon Pegg was hiding somewhere in it.
Whatever, it was fun.
I think it was just JJ.
What was
It was
your
a
least
mystery
favorite?
box.
My least favorite part, I mean, let's put all of our big Death Star Killer weaknesses like on like the most let's just. Granted, they made it harder than like they've done in the past, and it was like a huge thing that they had to destroy, and it wasn't like a pew pew boom. But like, I'm so tired of like having these huge space stations have just like uber obvious weakness, and so like them taking that out, I was just not invested in that. But they made up for it with everything else. So
That called the Oberator, something like that.
whatever.
I hated
the
it.
oscillator. It was
The-
it was the oscillator.
Oscillator.
That took me out of it too. I think when they're in the thing where like, there's got to be a way to destroy it.
There always
there
is.
Oh wait, here it is, right
Yeah.
here. It's like, oh, you don't have to steal the plans for the Star Killer like the Death Star. It's just like you can look at the plan, and be like, oh yeah, right here. I don't know. It was kind of like took me out for a second, but
That actually, now I think of it, it probably would have been actually pretty cool to not have it destroyed, and just sort of like made that almost like
You
a
just
thing that
disable
goes
the
into the
gun.
next episodes because it's such a big and powerful weapon that would have been an interesting thing for like to really build up to them trying to raid the Star Killer or destroy it. Maybe have their first plan fail.
yeah, that's what I was hoping for. Maybe just like stopping the gun, at least this assault, until they can do some repairs.
But to be honest, it's probably better to do something original.
All right,
And the
real
next one.
fast. Like, just name best worst, and then we can all just.
Best thing, once again, has to be the lightsaber scene. But
All right.
since they all picked it, I actually there's so many good scenes. I actually love the monster scene. I do see what they're saying about it, but I think it was just like, no, that didn't have to be a scene, but neither did the worm in Empire Strikes Back. That didn't need to be there. But it's just good writing is adding stuff that doesn't need to be there, but it adds to the overall experience. I love the monster scene. I do see what they're saying about Guardians of the Galaxy looking characters. But I think it was really funny, and it was surprising. Like, I didn't expect to see something like that in a Star Wars movie, because that might be one of the scarier things we've seen in a Star Wars movie. I imagine many kids crying during that scene, because that was freaking scary. And this the shot of all of them going, "Oh crap!" as they realize that these monsters get released and the tentacles come out and grab them and pull them through the window. I thought it was so fun and so exciting. But
least favorite.
least favorite, as I said, I didn't like the opening that much. But now that I'm thinking about it more, I would also have to say that the Captain Phasma scene was just like, come on, that could have just been a clone trooper, because we've seen how they're not that tough. They walked away from Kylo and they saw him freaking out with the lightsaber. So for me, it's probably a tie between some of the opening scene, which the opening scene wasn't bad, but I do think the Captain Phasma scene was sort of bad. So I'll say Captain Phasma.
All right. Now, out of 10, I would probably give this like a 8.8, like real close.
8.7.
I gotta see it a couple more times,
Really?
but
Me
right
too.
now, 8.3.
I'll round it up to 9.
I'll round it up to 10.
Oh. Well, you heard it here, not first. Goodbye.